Good morning. Thank you all for joining us here on our weekly broadcast of Joshua and Gilla Ministries book review. This week, we'll be going over the book, The Force of Destiny. This will be a continuation, even as we will delve into this book. We'll be going over discovering and fulfilling your purpose. This week, we'll be going over the chapter 3, Silencing the Enemy of Your Destiny. Brothers and sisters, this book has been such a blessing, and we're going to go over some key points in this book that have really touched us. You see, it is very important and vital that you receive this book because fulfilling and discovering your destiny is something that everyone throughout the world is wondering what they should do next. You see, in chapter 3, our most esteemed Papa Joshua and Gilla goes into silencing the enemy of your destiny. In the beginning, he states, every child of God is a child of destiny. You are not a destitute, but a child of destiny. Your destiny is what God has designed, planned, and purposed for your life. It is what God has written concerning you. In this first passage, our most esteemed tells us the 3 elements of destiny. That is design, plan, and purpose. You see, brothers and sisters, for you to ever fully discover your destiny, you need to understand these 3 elements. For example, the first element of figuring out or discovering your destiny is design. You see, with design, it deals with physical attributes. It deals with what you are, your makeup. Some people may ask, why am I white? Why am I black? Oh, why are you tall? Why are you short? You see, your actual physical attributes, your design, your physical makeup is a part of your destiny. It is a part of what you were made to do here on this earth. So you're not just 5'10" like me for nothing. It is all for the plan and the purpose that God has for you. So brothers and sisters, in this aspect, our most esteemed is delving into design, your makeup, your physical attribute. He's telling you that you're not just like the way you are for anything. So for example, when you see in many countries there's racial discrimination, there would be no need or desire for racial discrimination if people understood that this was all a part of God's plan or design for their life. You wouldn't be wondering, oh, I don't like black or I don't like white. No, that is the makeup God has made them for a particular purpose. You see, right now, brothers and sisters, racial discrimination, even as so, is actually an enemy of destiny because it's now telling you that what you are or what you were designed is actually not fulfilling to this world. But the thing is, the creator of it all has even told you that it is actually what he made you to be. You see, sometimes when you see a basketball player, you see how tall they are, you say, no, this person, even when you see a child and you see them super tall, you say, oh, you have the makeup of a basketball player. Look at your design. Look at the way your arm reaches. It's so long. Only you could be able to block a ball. You see, when you see them, you say, oh, this is what they were made to do. Their design, their actual makeup is what makes them able to do that, which is their occupation. When you see a model, you see how beautiful she is. You see how her features are so open, they're so alive. When you see them, even when you see them through magazines, you're amazed. You say, how can someone be this beautiful? Well, the fact of the matter is that that's God's design for their life. It's what he created them to be. It's not something that their preferences were involved in it. It was something that God had designed already from the beginning. You see, brothers and sisters, even when it comes to, let's say, education, you cannot now decide that your design is going to be different based off of, oh, I went to this school or I did this. It's not based off your preferences. It actually has nothing to do with your hands involved in that situation. It is God involved in that situation. You see, when it comes to your design, it should cause you to know that whatever makes up your makeup is actually what you should appreciate. Brothers and sisters, learn how to celebrate yourself. That's what our most esteemed is telling us in this book. He's saying that your design is not by mistake. He did not make you with 2 long feet. He did not make you with 2 long arms for nothing. He did not give you 2 eyes for nothing. He didn't make you black. He didn't make you brown for nothing. You see, that is all a part of the greater design. He's a workman working in his workshop, designing you for the destiny, the set destination that is ahead. Honestly, that is beautiful to know. Because many people a day, they always think, oh, I don't like that I'm this. I don't like that I'm that. Why was I born like this? Why was I born black? Why was I born tall? Why was I born short? Why do I have blue eyes? Why do I have green? You see, the fact of the matter is that it had nothing to do with it. It had nothing to do with your hands, your parents' hands even so. It's God's doing his thing in your life. We can't really change it. You see, he said there's 3 elements of destiny. We went over design. Then he said a plan. A plan. Brothers and sisters, location comes into play. You know where you live or where you were born? Some people may say, oh, I don't know why I was born in America. I don't know why I was set here. I don't know why my parents had to take me all the way from Europe to here. Why was I born in America? My younger sister was born in Australia. My older brother was born in Nigeria. Why was that planned? Brothers and sisters, it is God's plan for where you are. Have you ever thought, what if our most esteemed Papa Joshua IGNILA, what if he was born in another country? Would we have all met? Would we all be on this platform reviewing the great man of God's book? You see, brothers and sisters, it's a perfect orchestration of the Spirit of the Lord working in your life. So where you are currently, where you are living, where you were born, this is all a part of the plan. So there's no point in wishing that you were born in Atlanta. There was no point in wishing you were born in Georgia. There was no point in wishing you were born in California or born in Kenya. The fact of the matter is that where you were born was a part of the plan. Where you reside is a part of the plan. Our most esteemed, the Lord sent him. He was raised in Nigeria for a reason. For many of us to even be able to receive his word, to hear this message today. You see, it's all a part of the plan. Like we said, there's design, your makeup, your genetic makeup, your DNA, what makes you who you are, your physical attributes. What if our most esteemed Papa Joshua IGNILA was Chinese? Would many of us be in this situation where we're hearing or even reviewing his book today? This all comes in a part of the physical journey that we're living in. It seems like it's just, oh, anyhow, but really, it's an orchestration of the Spirit. Your design came into play, the plan came into play, and of course, your purpose, brothers and sisters. It's a timeline. You were first made, your design. You were then brought to the point where now you were planned. There was a planning of where you were sent. There was a planning of where you will start. And then it went all the way to purpose. That's when your purpose can finally be met, because these qualifications have brought you to a point. These elements have brought you to a point where destiny can be fulfilled. That is beautiful, brothers and sisters. When our most esteemed explained that in this book, I really thought about it. I said, wow, no wonder I'm tall. I said, wow, I guess I understand why I was born in America. But it's all a part of your purpose, your destiny that God has for you. If you don't mind, I'm going to read a passage for you today. Let us turn our Bibles to Galatians 4, verse 2. We're going to turn our Bibles to Galatians 4, verse 2. You see, what we're trying to say is that there's certain things that are not in your hands. There's certain things that actually, they'll never just be your own. You see, the Spirit of the Lord is doing his thing in your life and with your life. Amen. So we're in Galatians 4. So in Galatians 4, verse 2, well, verse 1 and 2, let's read it together. It says, now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differed nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all. But let's emphasize verses 2. It says, but is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father. Brothers and sisters, that is what our most esteemed is explaining when he talks about the 3 elements of destiny. When he explains your design, your plan, and your purpose, he said you'll be under tutors and governors all until the appointed time. You see, these elements that we just explained is all for that appointed time. But you will come under a tutor and a governor. Even our most esteemed is using this book, The Force of Destiny. He is our tutor and our governor. He's basically bringing us to a point where we are learning from him, understanding what our destiny is, what our design is, the importance of the plan that God has for us, and the purpose that will finally be fulfilled. That is exactly what this book was made to do, is to tell you those three elements that are working in your destiny, acknowledge them, but know they are working for the fulfillment of your destiny to be made. That is awesome. You see, more than ever, if you are able to understand why your makeup is the way you are, why you were planned or set forth in the place in which you were sent to, and even your purpose, then you will always understand that it was not a coincidence that you were born. You couldn't be a biological mistake. There is no way that something that was not even in your hands can now be a mistake. You can see someone say to their child, which is not really excellent. You can say to your child, "Oh, I wasn't really planning for you." But the fact of the matter is that they're correct. Their plan wasn't involved. The Almighty's plan was involved. Your design, they say, "Oh, I don't know why you're tall. Everybody in this family is short." Exactly. Your design is completely different. And the reason why is because God knows to fulfill his destiny, he needs to make you 6'7" to fulfill destiny in your life. Even though everyone around you is 5'2". The fact of the matter is that it cannot be a coincidence. It was never a biological mistake. Where you are, who you are, what makes you who you are was always in God's plan. They are the elements of your destiny. You see, going on in the book, our most esteemed says there's a purpose for every product. And it is the manufacturer that defines the purpose for the product. The manufacturer, the Almighty God, is the one that can define your purpose. He's the one that can give you the reason why you were born, why you were raised, what made you who you are. The fact that you are finally in this body that you are in, living in the land that you live in. It was all a plan of the manufacturer himself. If we were able to understand that, brothers and sisters, you can understand and take this greatly, that surely where you are, who you are, was not by mistake. What you're doing currently is not by mistake. The elements of destiny are working in your favor. They are working aligned to what God, the components God has given you. He said, "Oh, wow, this one has very tall, very long legs. We'll put them in place in this." The plan, the design, the plan, and the purpose. All the great elements of destiny are working in our favor. So there's no reason to even desire something that someone else has. That is a part of their destiny. There's no reason to desire something that someone may be. That is a part of their destiny. Believe that what you are and what makes you who you are is actually what God has planned from the beginning. It is exactly what you needed to be. It's exactly what you needed to do. You could not have done anything else because that was not in the plan. Amen. You see, going on, our most esteemed even explains, he says, our God cannot lie. Wow. He said, God cannot lie about you, about the elements that make you who you are. He did not lie about it. We're going to read a verse to you today so you can understand why God never lied when he made you who you are, when he sent you where you were. Brothers and sisters, our most esteemed Papa Joshua IGNILA was sent to Nigeria. Brothers and sisters, he was born in Nigeria. Because of him, many of us are able to realize destiny throughout the world. And that was only because of the components that God made him. His makeup, that in which he was sent to, is the reason why across the world we're all logged in to even review his book, to even hear the words of the Spirit through our most esteemed, is because of the plan, the design, the purpose, the elements of destiny that were working in his favor for us to see our greatest of design. Amen. So he says, our God cannot lie. Brothers and sisters, he says, our God cannot lie. We're going to read a passage from Hebrews 6, verse 18. And we'll tell you the reason why our God cannot lie. Hebrews 6, verse 18. In this passage, we'll read verse 17 and 18 to you. In this passage, you will understand why God cannot be a liar when it comes to who you are and where you are right now. If you're able to understand this, then you will not fall into depression. If you're able to understand this, you will not wish you were in another man's place. You say based off circumstances. Don't let circumstances cause you to look at God's design, plan, and purpose for your life and regret it. This passage will be able to give you a better understanding of what we're saying. Okay, so in verse 17 it says, wherein God, willing more abundantly to show unto the heirs of promise the immutability of his counsel, confirmed it by an oath. In verse 18 it says that by two immutable things, in which it was impossible for God to lie. He said it is impossible for God to lie because of two immutable things. We're going to tell you about those two immutable things, brothers and sisters, because that's what our most esteemed is saying. He said our God cannot lie because of these two immutable things. In verse 17, he explains it. The immutability of his counsel, which is wisdom. He's saying because of wisdom and also because of oath, a promise. These are the two reasons why God cannot lie. By every means and measure, he must fulfill the purpose and the destiny of your life because of these two immutable things. These are the two things driving the Lord to make sure that you fulfill your destiny. That's why our most esteemed said our God cannot lie. He said God has never he has never been a liar because of these two things, the wisdom and of the promise, which is oath. Brothers and sisters, more than ever, for you to even see the fulfillment and the finishing of your destiny, you need someone who has the wisdom of God. Our most esteemed came by the reason of this book. He came and spoke to us in the force of destiny today to be that source of God's wisdom unto us. He has made sure that the two immutable reasons why God cannot lie is at work in your life today. Even as we read this book all throughout the world, even as we're reviewing it today, this morning, we are falling in a line to what God wants in our life, which is to fulfill our destiny. He is making sure that wisdom is at work by the reason of bringing us our most esteemed Papa Joshua IGNILA, to make sure that we hear the wisdom of God through his son this morning. Even as we hear it, now we're able to work with it because it is his wisdom and his promise. He said, it's my oath I give to you that surely you will fulfill your destiny. It is his promise, God's promise. It's his promise to you that he will not lie about it, that you will see the end of the fulfillment. You will see the end of your destination, the fulfillment of your destiny. More than ever, brothers and sisters, our most esteemed brought forth this book to us to make sure that that promise never fails. That the same God who can never lie can fulfill that for you. So you may say, oh, I don't live in Nigeria, but even here in America, we are here listening, watching, reading, earnestly, receiving the wisdom of the Lord through our most esteemed Papa Joshua IGNILA. This morning, this is what we're doing. We are receiving that great wisdom, making sure that the oath that the Lord has spoken upon our lives never comes to an end. Because he said his word cannot what? Return void, but it must be to a completion. And this is how it will be done. You see, brothers and sisters, more than ever, this should tell you that your destiny can never be delayed. Our most esteemed said your destiny cannot be delayed, and it surely cannot be what? Denied. That in which the Lord has set for you, even if you see a circumstance come about, and it may draw you, of course, just know, no matter the delay, it can't be denied. That which the Lord has spoken for you, based off of what he has planned from the beginning, it can never be denied. It must come to fruition. It must come to full fulfillment. More than ever, that should be your great assurance this morning. That should be your running drive, knowing that the Lord is running for your course. He's making sure that the fulfillment of your destiny is not a waste. Because whether you know it or not, there are many who are tied to you. So even as you hear this message, even as you read this book, you are falling in line to the destiny, the wisdom that God has spoken for your life. You see, more than ever, why is this important? Why are we bringing this today? Even as we read this chapter, silencing your destiny, the enemy's plan to silence your destiny, we read in a verse that our most esteemed said, he said that the enemy knows about your glorious future. You see, you're not the only one that knows about your glorious future. The enemy knows. He said the enemy knows about your glorious future. He knows that your existence is a threat to the kingdom. Why are we saying that? Brothers and sisters, let's turn our Bibles to Job 1. We're going to give you this verse, Job 1. Because there was a man of God that the enemy knew his destiny. He knew his purpose for life. He said the enemy knows about your glorious future. Don't think it's just you that knows about what God will do in your life. Don't think it's just your pastor that knows. The enemy knows. As it's being spoken, the enemy is there to hear it. He said he knows that your existence, your ever being, that which makes you up is a threat to his kingdom. So more than ever, it should tell you there is something worth living for. That what you are is a threat to the kingdom of darkness. Our most esteemed is explaining that to us. He said that glorious future that the Lord has given to you is a threat to the kingdom. Let's make sure it's fulfilled. Because the kingdom of darkness should not reign. So therefore, let's turn to Job 1, verse 9 to 10. We're actually here already. In Job 1, verse 9 to 10. It says, then Satan answered the Lord and said, does Job fear God for nothing? He said, you think Job fears you for nothing? In verse 10, he said, has not thou made an hedge about him? Even the enemy, even Satan knew that God had put a hedge around Job. You see, brothers and sisters, what our most esteemed is explaining even, he's saying that he knows your future. What you're thinking is a mistake is what he knows is actually planned. How the enemy knows everything, the components about your future. And he knows that you fulfilling that in which God has given you is going to cause a ruckus in the kingdom of darkness. He says, has he not known that you made a hedge about him and about his house and about all that he has on every side? He has protection, safety on every side. He says, thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. Brothers and sisters, the enemy knew what God already did for Job. He knew that God Almighty was protecting him on all sides. He knew that he blessed the work of his hands. But brothers and sisters, if you see the end of Job, it wasn't glorious. Job couldn't even fathom what God had planned for him. You see, that's what we've come to explain. Our most esteemed is using this book to tell you you're not by mistake. Stop thinking you're a mistake in life. Stop thinking that the things that make you up, your design, your plan, and your purpose, they're all by mistake. It's a regrettable thing. Stop thinking that, God, I don't know why you sent me to this country. I don't know why you put me in this circumstance. I don't know why I'm living in this place. I don't know why I can't feed my children this week. The fact of the matter is, the Lord is explaining. He's saying that all of this is a part of the plan. The elements, brothers and sisters, the elements of your destiny is the reason why you will see that glorious future. They make you who you are. They make it a part of what God needs to finish. That is your destiny. Job didn't understand that. That's why he saw such a colossal end. That's why he saw such a horrid end in his life. Because he didn't understand what God had planned for him. He didn't understand his design. The enemy knew his design. He knew that God had brought forth a hedge around him. He knew that safety was on all sides. But Job didn't understand it. He regretted it. Job instead brought forth his own end. Brothers and sisters, there's an enemy that knows your glorious future. And he is making sure that you don't fulfill your destiny. But by the reason of this book, by the reason of our most esteemed Brother Joshua IGNILA, the author of the Forces of Destiny, by the reason of him bringing forth this word for our life, the wisdom and the promise, we are able to fulfill the destiny in which God has given us and able to combat that in which the enemy has tried to stop us from receiving that which is ours. In conclusion, there is a last part that we want to explain to you. Our most esteemed says, so he tries by all means to steal your joy. You see, brothers and sisters, depression is not just by chance. When people are having anxiety, it's not just by means. You see, it's the enemy's plan. It's all a part of what he's doing to destruct the plan, which is fulfilling your destiny. Our most esteemed says he tries by all means to steal your joy. So more than ever, be joyful. More than ever, let nothing steal your joy. Will circumstances come? Yes, they will. Will delays come? Yes, they will. But brothers and sisters, don't look back. Always look forward. Tread forward fiercely knowing that there is a fulfillment of destiny that I must reach. More than ever, let no one take that which is joyful in your life. Let not the things of the world cause you to now be put astray, where you think that this life is not worth living, where you contradict if your life was even meant to be, where you wonder, why did my parents even birth me? Is this even worth it? Is this life worth living? Stop right there. Our most esteemed is telling us, make sure this is what's going to seal and make sure that you see the end of that destiny. He said, don't let anything or anyone steal your joy. Your joy is what is at stake. The joy of Job was what was stripped. And that's why he couldn't see the fulfillment of his destiny. Brothers and sisters, this is just a few pieces that we wanted to bring to you today. This book, The Forces of Destiny, is sealing that which is ours. That in which the Lord has grasped for us. That in which he has designed a long time ago before you were in your mother's belly. The plan was already constructed many years ago. Beyond the hands of a mortal man. The Almighty wrote, and he said, it is written. There is a writing about your life that needs to be fulfilled. Make sure that no one sees the end of your destination but you. Make sure that no one sniffs away the fulfillment of that which is yours. Make sure that you're able to grasp it. So at the end, you can tell the Lord you have saw the fulfillment of your great destiny. And this book, The Force of Destiny, will make sure that you reach that destination. Brothers and sisters, make sure that you receive this book. This is actually everything that you've been needing. For many, they've been asking, I don't know what my purpose is. For many of you watching and those throughout the world, or those you may know that have been asking, I don't know what my purpose is. There's a man who has the wisdom of the words of the Lord to bring forth you that fulfillment, that destiny, understanding the elements that are working in your life and making sure that you reach their destiny. Our most esteemed is holding forth your hand, stretching forth his hand to you and telling you, walk upon this path. This is the right course for your life. Brothers and sisters, more than ever, get this book. This book is exactly what you need. If you're looking to receive this book, please comment below. We'll be able to bring forth the sources in which you need to get this book. And also, you can find that at championsroyalassembly.ng. In our bookshop, we have many books from our most esteemed Papa Joshua and Gilla. These books have been a great blessing. The Forces of Destiny is what you need to stay on course and to make sure that the enemy is not able to sniff your joy. More than ever, join us every Saturday at 11 a.m. as we go deeper and go over the great points in which our most esteemed brought forth to us today. Brothers and sisters, this for me has been a blessing. Why? I'm able to make sure that this destiny that God has given me will never be a waste. With that said, brothers and sisters, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. It has been a glorious time with you all. More than ever, the rest of your life is the best of your life. Have a great one.